Hey everybody, happy Monday. Getting ready to do the shows for the week. Guess what? Pam Forrester's in St. Louis. Bad news is she's at the airport. Can't leave. She'll actually be flying over my house here any minute. Because I see the airport.
I've been laid over in St. Louis a couple times.
It's not a great airport.
No.
I'm
an airport snob though. I feel like I've learned over the years, but
yeah, it's not a
when I talk about how much I love my Detroit airport, but like, dude, they like from that like tornado we had, like there was just bad weather that ripped through the whole state. Like the terminal I like the Delta one got flooded like the next day. There was just like standing water like in the area. It was so bad.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, our airport got hit by a big tornado on Easter probably about 10 years ago. I mean, it got destroyed.
Wow.
But it's come back. But yeah, so I guess the nicest airport, I haven't been to many. Probably Vegas. That was a cool airport.
Vegas. Yeah.
It was just crazy with all those slot machines.
See, I've been on Vegas's tarmac. Our first trip to Disneyland connected through Vegas, but it was a no plane change, so we just stayed on the plane. So I never actually saw the airport.
No, I had to change planes. I was like, this is crazy.
I got to get to Vegas, man. It's crazy that I've never been to Vegas.
We drove through there when we went to Yosemite, and it was cool. But like, I don't gamble too much, so
yeah.
But it's like, dude, it's kind of like Epcot, really, with gambling, because there's like a Paris. There's like a circuit. Back in the day, there was like I don't think it's there anymore. There was like a hotel that had like a pirate ship out front, and they did a show every night. You could just stand on the road and watch the show.
Okay,
free. We stayed in a hotel called Excalibur. It was like a medieval. I mean, it was a huge hotel, but it had like looked like kind of like a castle. I think it was called Excalibur.
See, I want to go to like the Bellagio and like the Wynn because those are like some of those big poker rooms that I like. So
we went to the Bellagio to see the fountains.
Yeah,
we did out front. That was really cool. It's kind of like the old Fountain Nations at Epcot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is kind of like Epcot. Now think about it.
Man, I was like daydreaming at lunch because like my buddy Jake is like he's building a house, so he's trying to get his house up and running to sell. So he's working on his house all week. So he took the week off to work. You gotta love that, right? But so I just sat by myself. Liz was with a friend, so I was like daydreaming about like Disney planning. Basically, that's how I spent my lunch today.
That's what you do, just man.
Like, dang, man! But then I was like seeing the hurricane updates. I was like, ooh. Because they're shutting down Tampa Airport.
Yeah, the Panhandle is going to get hit. I think like right in that curve, but I think Orlando's going to be okay. I hope. Walt Disney World is. They just announced like an hour ago though you can cancel or modify your trip. No penalties.
On Marathon Podcast Day, there's a special gate because the world we should enter. Just main gate.
Marathon Podcast Day.
So I think it's something about the day that we're doing the podcast at the village.
Volunteer Day, like in September.
I think that's what Richard's talking about.
I think there's just that one main gate. You just go in. I would imagine. I don't know.
I'm not actually sure. We can find out though with our contact for sure.
Oh yeah, we got it. Where's that text from Ricky? I got to make sure I say that. Richard, you mind to spell me out because I totally forgot to announce this stuff Ricky told me.
I think it's just the main gate though.
Yeah, I think it is. All right, we're gonna answer.
Richard, are you volunteering? Are you asking because you're volunteering? Because if so, we'll definitely find that answer. I'll get that.
You will totally find out because Pam is stuck in an airplane and she'll probably have Wi-Fi. So we can text her, and Ricky will be home shortly when she picks up the baby.
Yeah, I'm just there for support. I haven't really done much of the planning for this, but I'm excited to be a part of it for sure.
I think what we're gonna have to do, like technically, is just all bring our laptops and we're gonna all do it like we do normally, just like with our laptops in front of us, so we can push it out, even though we'll just be kind of forward, like sitting on the table. I'm bringing the mixer so I can get the mix and record it and stuff, but for the video feed, we're just gonna.
It's gonna be delayed when you do that, though. I feel like because like I'll hear you talking and then I'll hear you through the headphones.
It will be, but as long as we're separated by a little bit, if we have our headphones on, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
You just don't want to hear it live. That's why you got to have your headphones on.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't pay attention to like what's in the room. It'll be fine. That's what they got to do. Like, like in sports booths. It's not very delayed, really. It's not too delayed.
Well, we'll have to test it out for sure.
Yeah, we will. My dad's going over.
We'll have to practice.
Yeah, we are going to practice.
Your dad's coming, you said?
No, he's got a Rams game that weekend, but he's coming over next Tuesday. We're practicing here at the house, which that'll be great. Will UMass cover at Auburn? Well, UMass is undefeated. No, they're not going to cover Auburn, but
Auburn has a Michigan State quarterback,
and they have Hugh Freeze. That'll be fun. Okay, so we gotta, I can't wait to see what Auburn does this year. That could be fun down on the plains. And this year they're bringing back the most important thing is they can now roll the Tumors Corner. They brought that back this year. The trees are healthy enough.
Oh, okay.
That's the important thing.
Michigan State will be interesting. We lost like 40 people to the transfer portal, so I don't even know our roster.
Dude, the portal giveth and the portal taketh away. I hate the portal, by the way.
Me too.
Hate it, but that's whatever. Okay, yep, I'll be there Thursday night at the zoo. So look for me on SEC Network. Okay, yeah, dude, this week's rough, man. Because Thursday night we have a 7:00 game at Mizzou. That's 2 hours away, and then Friday night our football team plays 2.5 hours away. So it's like, dude, we're gonna be putting the miles on. And like Pam teaches both days, so like she has to rush home both days, get in the car. She's taking a half day Friday because she's like, I can take a half day on one of those days. I said Friday because Friday, the way we're going, like we'll be more likely to be stuck in traffic for the longer period of time. So it's gonna be wild. Okay, we just got 8. We got 8. Just
I think we're talking about transfer portal students.
I was like, is that the spread? Okay, what number are we doing here? 2245. All right, if we have questions about Disney, not about the spread, because or college football, even though I'd like to, but this is a Disney podcast. We should start a second one, but we'll see. All right, here we go. Welcome to episode 2200. Nope, it's not. Nope, it's 2300.
You said 2 though, because I wrote down 2.
2000. I wrote it down. I got 2245 written here on my whiteboard.
What up, Jocelyn in the chat? What up,
dude? Long time no see. She's been hanging out at Disneyland.
I know,
doing all the cool stuff.
I try not to get jealous very often, and I don't. But man, I love Jocelyn's trip. Man, that was so awesome.
Whatevs. I know, for real. Talk about it next week. Well, yeah, we'll have plenty to talk about. That Saturday. I was worried like 6 hours, dude. We'll have plenty to talk about. We'll have so much to give away. You really won't have time to talk. So, yeah,
well, she confirmed we have a huge So Jocelyn's kind of leading the volunteering thing. Like again, like I'm kind of blind to all this, but Jocelyn's running the volunteers. We got a huge group. Yep. That's awesome.
Yep, I'm bringing a spatula just in case if we're serving breakfast. I don't know. I might need it. Maybe not. I don't know.
I got this question for Jocelyn, for you, Mike, and Pam too. Like, are we like trying to coordinate something, like, or are we just gonna like wear whatever, or like we're trying to wear like a Be Our Guest shirt or something? Like, I don't know.
I'm wearing my Howl stuff because it's Howl Friday, so I'm wearing my Howl Hawaiian shirt. That's what I'm wearing.
Okay, well, maybe it's gonna be Aloha Day at the village.
Yeah, wear Hawaiian stuff because that's what I'm wearing. Okay, so let's get the number right. Here we go. We got to start. Here we go. 2345. Dummy. Dude, you get a cheap shirt at anywhere, like a cheap, this flowery shirt. Those things are like $5. You can go to Goodwill.
The reason I thought that, and I know you might get started, because like
we should all wear Hawaiian shirts.
I volunteer at work all the time, and we call it Jackson in Action. Because we're Jackson, we're in action.
Oh, that's good.
And they're just like red volunteer shirts. We all wear like the same color, and we look kind of cool, coordinating. That's why I was just thinking of it.
We should have got shirts like made, but dude, it's
too late. Oh, way too late.
We thought of that before right now.
I mean, Liz could probably make something, but like that's gonna be a lot of work.
No, dude, let's wear Hawaiian shirts. I mean,
we'll figure it out. We'll have to get on a chat with Jocelyn.
Yeah,
figure it out, or we just wear whatever.
Because Hawaiian shirts would be cool because they'd make a cool picture.
Not everyone's got a Hawaiian shirt.
You do. I bet you got.
I do, but yeah, not everybody
have Hawaiian shirts. It would look like we're having fun. We'll get Jocelyn.
Maybe I'll wear the flamingo shirt.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, like you like Florida looking shirts. Exactly. Like vacation-y shirts. Okay. Anyway,
We'll
here we
see.
go. We'll figure that out. I'm not a fashionista. All right, here we go. 2345. Welcome to episode 2345 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're having a great week. We are back with that time to answer your listener questions. As we do midweek, we take a little break here and just bounce all over the place. Sometimes we talk Disney Cruise Line, we talk Disneyland, Walt Disney World, and just see what you have in the inbox, what questions you have here live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, and just have a great time getting together as a community. And can't wait to, speaking of getting together, we're going to be doing that at Give Kids the World here very, very soon. But joining me today, my brother from another mother, we're going to be getting together down at Walt Disney World here soon. Scotty G up in Michigan. What's up, Scott?
Happy Wednesday, Mike. Hope you're having a great week. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy, like the events we have coming up. I always got to bring it back to sports just a little bit. But we got the big college football weekend about to start, Labor Day weekend. The temps start cooling down up here in the Midwest, and then we got the big Give Kids the World event. So lots of great things to look forward to right now.
That's right. I mean, Mizzou kicks off tomorrow night. I can't believe I can say tomorrow night. We'll be back at the zoo, Columbia, Missouri against South Dakota. Big season ahead of us. I always say that. I'm an optimistic Mizzou fan every year. My heart gets broken many of those years, but we'll see how it goes. I'm just excited to be back at one of my favorite places. And but I'll be glad to be down at Walt Disney World with all my friends. We have lots of folks volunteer with us at Give Kids the World. The entire crew is going to be there. You're going to be there. Ricky's going to be there. Pam's going to be there. Lots of our other friends over at the Magic for Less are going to be there with us. Magical Wishes for Kids. We're partnering up with them. They're going to be with us. Ricky couldn't be here today, but she wanted me to remind everybody that we have so much in store for you, even if you can't make it, that you need to be ready to bid on some of these great auction items. She wanted me to let you know that we have things like, let me see, you get back into the text here. We have some retired Scentsy items. And when I heard about that, it immediately took me back to Storybook Circus and the new thing that's going to be happening over there. And I giggled like a 12-year-old because I think it's going to be smell like an elephant's armpit, but who knows? Besides that, we have a lot of homemade unique ears that some of our listeners have made. How awesome is that? I got a pair for one of my listeners out in California. That was very cool. How about this, Scott? I think anybody wants one of these, a Disney Wish floating Bluetooth speaker. Those things are hotter than the pavement.
I may know a guy that wants one of those that foolishly did not get one on the last sailing because I knew I wanted to drive up the price and maybe win one during the auction. That was my strategy.
Oh, yeah, those things are so. I know I kind of want one, but like I don't have a pool.
I don't even care. I don't need to have a pool.
Your best line of the cruise was, but I do have a bathtub.
I have a bathtub, baby.
Like that is pretty
maybe
awesome.
I'll put a hot tub in and I can have it like be in the hot tub. I like that idea.
Anyways, we have the Bluetooth speaker that looks like the Disney Wish up for bids. We have Christmas time items, Disneyland Paris 30th anniversary items you can bid on. Just all kinds of stuff. Star Wars pins. Dennis donated a bunch of those we're going to have out there. And of course, we are raffling a Walt Disney World vacation on that Saturday, September 9th. So even if you can't be at the Village, please do join us noon to 6. We're going to have a 6-hour live show. We're going to have lots of guests joining us, but all 4 of us are going to be doing a 6-hour podcast. So, drop in. I know you probably can't be there for 6 hours on a Saturday, but here's the cool thing. We didn't think about this, we'll be honest, but we kind of got lucky. We'll have a lot of stuff going on with the D23 event over just hop, skip, and a jump away over at Walt Disney World. At the same time, we're on the air, so we'll have kind of a second screen experience. Maybe while you're watching that, we'll have it on it where we are too, because there's 4 of us, and we can comment on, because the parks panel will be happening while we're on the air right after. So we'll be having a good time with that. We can give real time commentary on that, Scott. I mean, I don't think a lot's going to be announced, but hey, if there's something blockbuster, we'll be first on it.
Right. And I was just thinking about the auction a little bit too, because there were some things I wanted to get to Ricky. I have some popcorn buckets I was going to donate that I completely forgot about that I purposely got for the auction. But What about a Run Disney medal signed by Scotty G? Would someone want? I'm just kind of playing around. I'm just thinking like a Castaway Key Run Disney medal, like with my signature. That's got to be worth like $2, right?
It'd be sweet. We're offering, we're going to auction off a spot on the BOGP podcast where you are a part of the team right here for a week. You get to be a part of the Wednesday and Friday shows, just like we record right here. You pick the topic for the Friday show. You answer the listener questions on Wednesday. You get behind the scenes stuff. You hang out with us here on the Zoom call, like as we record these shows. I mean, do this at your own peril because it's not as exciting as you may think. It's a little crazy, but we'd love to have you as a member of the team for a week. So we're going to auction that off all for the great folks down at Give Kids a World. So do set aside a little bit of money and hopefully 6 hours of time or part of that day, September 9th. We can't wait. And hope to see you on September 8th. If you've signed up with Jocelyn, thanks again to Jocelyn for coordinating all this. That's a lot of work, but it's going to be worth it. We're all going to wear Hawaiian shirts. I just decided. All right. And Jocelyn says she picked up some cast only items from the Disney studios last week. That's kind of a flex right there.
That is a flex. I like what she did there.
That's pretty cool. All right. We have a question here. Let's go to the inbox first. Stephanie's got a question, and it's about one of Scott's favorite places. It's like she knew you were going to be here, Scott. I mean, people.
Is it about Okie West?
No, well, close. I think people are getting so comfortable with Scott being a part of the panel now. It's like they're just going right to you now. Like, I mean, they're just like everybody knows like your wheelhouses. So here we go. Stephanie says, "Hey, Mike and the BOGP crew, I'd love for you to tell me your experiences with Geyser Point. Considering relaxing there with our party of 7 in December, they're all adults, ages 20 to 50-ish. Will we be able to hang out and visit for a while? How's the food? I saw the big comfy chairs and sofa on Disney's site, and it looks so cozy. I know they don't take ADRs, but I did see that you can do mobile order. How does that work with a lounge?" And she has a second question. But explain that, how the whole atmosphere works, because we've hung out there, Geyser Point.
The atmosphere is perfect, and we definitely have lounged there with parties of 7 or more for sure. So you might have to pack in your little patience because there's certain parts of like kind of like the corners I'm thinking of the restaurant or the lounge that kind of hold more seating. So you might have to pack in a little patience, but you're okay with that, right? Like, because you're just there to chill and hang out. So yeah, definitely a great place to hang out. And the food is great. So there's this burger that I love there. The I want to say it's these like nachos that I really like there too as well. And the cocktails are awesome. It's just a great place. Like I have not had anything there that I did not enjoy. So definitely a great idea there. And you're talking about the ADR. So you're right. You can't make an ADR. So you got to find a way to get to the resort. If you're staying there, that's a bonus, right? That's kind of easy. You can just kind of do a check-in right there while you're staying there. If not, because it's hard to just park there. That's the tricky thing. You can't really, no one really knows what depending on the security guard you're going to see at the shack that day, they're going to let you in or not. Like, I would like to think, like, if you went up there and say, "Hey, I'm going to spend some money and hang out at the resort," like they would say, "Oh yeah, come on in, spend some money and go to Geyser Point." Not always necessarily the case. So it might be easiest to come from a park, like come from like Magic Kingdom or something and take the boat over would be something I would recommend. And then you just go to the hostess stand or open up the app and you can do a check-in right there through the app.
And if you want to hang out for a little bit, my suggestion, and again, this is from my wife who worked as a server for years and years, is just make sure that you continue to buy drinks and, take care of your server. I think the tackiest thing, and I mean, we all know this, right, is to buy like an initial, entree and a drink and then hang out for 3 hours later, because then that server is not getting the opportunity to turn that table over and supplement their income. But if you continue to, to spend money, and I hate to say that, but I mean, make it worth your server's while. You're not just taking up where they're not being able to turn that table and make it worthwhile. You just got to, a little common sense goes a long way with that.
Yep. And I'm not sure if Stephanie is staying at the resort or not, but here's another great tip. Because she asked about the mobile order. So I've stayed at Wilderness Lodge before, and Mike, I'm a big pool guy. So I'm hanging out the DVC pool, turning it into like a nice long pool session. And you start getting a little hungry, or maybe want a little cocktail or a drink. You can mobile order from Geyser Point and then just bring it back over to the pool area. That's what we did. Yeah. So, and man, that was just a great way to spend an afternoon. I mean, I would have loved to hang out at the lounge too. I mean, it's hard to pick, like, do I hang out at the pool and have the food, or do I hang out at the lounge? Both are awesome. I recommend doing both if you're staying there. But yeah, that's a great option for the mobile ordering too.
All right, Stephanie's got a second question. We'll be at the Riviera, and our friends are staying at the cabins at Fort Wilderness. We'd all love to see the Christmas decorations over there. They have a golf cart reserved, but what's the best way for the rest of us to see the decorations if we're not staying there and don't have the golf cart reserved? Any creative solutions? We're working on our no parties because they're so expensive list of fun Christmas ideas. As always, thanks for making my drive to school so enjoyable. Stephanie, I mentioned her on the Sunday night show this week. Stephanie's my other friend out in Boise, home of the Blue Turf.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of
I'd say she should listen to the Sunday show to find a good answer here, right?
Exactly, because they need to take the horse-drawn cart thing, the carriage ride. That'd be awesome.
That is the best way, I think, right? So you go over the Fort Wilderness and you do I call it the wagon, the horse wagon. I don't know the official name.
Oh, yeah.
But it's awesome. Like, it's like a little hay ride. Like, you're like on this hay wagon and you just go through and you see all the Christmas lights. You see the whole campground. It's actually a really cool experience and a cool way to see all those lights. So that's what I would recommend. And you go on and book those in advance. I don't know. I'm taking a guess here. I'm guessing 60 days in advance because that seems to be the magic number for booking everything. But yeah, book that in advance and you will be all set.
So I think this is on a totally different subject because I think she's trying not to do the parties because of money. And they said, seven people, just looking at the budget and stuff. And I had a guest today. We were going back and forth talking about things, and they're going to be down during Halloween. And she took her tickets from, I think, 4-day tickets to 8-day tickets. They, instead of going to the Halloween party, they just increased their ticket. They decided not to go to the Halloween party and change their tickets from 4 days to 8 days for about the same
price. Crazy.
So think about this. And it was like 4 of them. They're getting 4 days of time in the theme parks instead of approximately 6 or 7 hours. Now, don't get me wrong, the Halloween party's fun and it's a very exclusive feeling. You get the candy, you get the trick or treat. It's just what you want. But when you're looking at it's different value propositions. But I thought that was a good call if you're looking to kind of spread out your time and be able to relax. It was a value prop. Maybe it's like a 5-day to an 8-day. But
and it always tells you, we always talk about, once you hit a certain threshold of days, the add-on for those extra days is pretty minimal when you compare it to a single day ticket or a hard ticket event. So, that makes sense too. And I like what they're thinking. And you still get to see the Halloween decorations on Main Street and all that too. So you can get some Halloween experiences without even going to the party. So, yeah, that's a good call.
They wanted to go, but they said, but we could get 3 more days, you know what
you got to do. And I hate to say this because everyone's going to do it too, but if you want some more Halloween fix without going to the party, this is going to cost you money too, but book a California Grill or one of those resorts, like a Narcoossee's where you can see the Magic Kingdom fireworks on a Halloween party night, and you can still see the fireworks from outside the park. So just a thought there too.
Or if you really want to, be creative, you go to the Magic Kingdom on a party night, take the boat or monorail over to the Polynesian and have dinner at Captain Cook's.
Yeah.
Linger, go out to the beach, and then you get to see the fireworks. You don't even have to spend the money on California Grill or North.
There you go, beach or even the TTC. I actually like that view from the ferry. Speaking of Jocelyn and Chad, I know we did that with her family once. We watched the fireworks from right there. It's a cool perspective from over there too. So we're giving all the hacks today.
Beans was knee high to a grasshopper back then.
I know, and now she's probably up to my shoulder. It's crazy.
Beans. I haven't said that forever. All right, here we go. Sean's got a question. We got to it's so long. We got to kind of peek over it. Just booked the February DVC stay at Saratoga Springs for my wife and I. It's preferred view. Thoughts on the Turf Club? We are thinking about renting clubs and golfing at LBV course. Look at this. Everybody knows Scott's loves here. It sounds like a fun no park day. Any suggestions on where to stay at Saratoga? I know it's a large resort. Sorry for all the questions. We're excited to stay at a new resort. Let me pull this down here so you can see us. Not that we're that good to look at. We've played LBV and we've rented clubs there. I'll tell you, you're the golfer. I thought the clubs were awesome because I don't have very nice clubs. I loved it. And that course was fun.
Yeah, so LBV, I'll go back to the Turf Club in a second, but LBV is my favorite Walt Disney World golf course. I like the Palm and the Magnolia, but LBV, like as a Disney like resorts guy too, like you see so many sites of Old Key West and Saratoga. You even get a little French Quarter on the back nine there, like on hole like 15 and 16. I think you see a little French Quarter.
You do.
And then you get a lot of Disney Springs too. Like it is just for like the Disney fan. Like I feel like you get a great fix of like just seeing some of the resorts. Now, I mean, that's not a knock at the Magnolia. We played there too, Mike, right? And we've said this before. It just felt like a normal round of golf until like you got to like the 16th hole, and then you could see the Grand Floridian and the monorail go by. Like, wow, that's pretty awesome. But I feel like the sites are much better at LBV. It's hard. I will say, I think it's the hardest of all of them.
I mean, I stink, but it was hard. It was really hard.
It's the hardest of all of them, but it's a lot. It's a lot of fun. It's a good course, good layout, and the clubs. Yeah, if you rent the clubs, they're nice. They're I want to say they're like tailor made. So they're pretty good clubs. They give you, I think, 2 sleeves of balls, so you get like 6 balls. Depending on how you are, you might want to pack some. Exactly. I always pack a box of balls when I plan a golf trip. I would say spend some time at the driving range too. Like there was one marathon weekend that might have been the highlight. We were taking like slow-mo videos of us like hitting balls at the range.
That had to have been the year that like slow-mo came out on the phone in like portrait mode. Because I look at my phone and we have so many pictures of like you and Steve and me and a bunch of us like in Moose and all of us like in slow-mo in like portrait mode with our clubs. It's so bad.
It was funny, yeah. That I think that was right when portrait mode was coming out for sure. Because like like it was just even at the driving range. Like I had a full like senior photo shoot.
It was. Yeah, the girls I think too. Like that year with their medals for the 5K, we got like 38 pictures of with the castle all blurry.
Yep,
it.
That's so funny. But I highly recommend LVV. Make sure you book a tee time ahead of time because those things do fill up. Like believe it or not, like golf is so popular. And I think he said February or they said February. And man, that's a great time because I played most of my rounds have been like in the summer, July, and it's just smoking hot. So good call. I'm playing golf in February. I hope you have a great time.
Oh, real quick though, before you talk Turf Club, they have that. I don't know if did they bring back that Sunrise 9? Is that back?
I have not seen the Sunrise 9. I think they have like a Sunset 9 they're doing, where you like get the special where you play 9 holes. I'm not sure how it works with the club rental per se. So it might be a little trickier with that, but they used to be the best value, right? Because
you get like a breakfast sandwich.
The Sunrise 9, you got a breakfast sandwich, and it was like $25 or something. You played 9 holes, and it was like at the best part of the day, like in the summer, especially before it got so hot out.
I think you got a drink at the end too.
You may have
pretty cheap. Yeah, it was like a really good deal.
One of the best deals. But so the Turf Club. So let's go back to that because that's that's attached to the golf club, the clubhouse right there.
It is.
So the Turf Club is a very forgotten place, and I'll tell you, I love the lounge that's connected to it too. Like my family once, we played like trivia in there for like 2 hours. We won every prize that you could imagine. Like we were doing Surrey bikes, tie-dye shirts, making like umbrellas or parasols or whatever. Like the rest of the trip, we won like every prize. It was kind of funny. But so the Turf Club, like I went there, Mike. It was kind of funny before the Springtime Surprise 5K, the first time where it was like the Expedition Everest like night race. It was weird. Like, what do I do before a race? Like, I got to eat at some point, right? And like, I didn't know what to do. We were staying at Saratoga, so I went to the Turf Club, and I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. It's pretty dark. It's like kind of like an old school like country club like restaurant is what you think, because that's kind of what they're trying to shoot for. Like being with the golf course has a great view of the driving range and like the clubhouse area. You can see some of Disney Springs from way up above if you're by a window. But I highly recommend checking it out. I don't think it gets enough love, Mike.
I like hidden places like that because that's a place you could always probably get an ADR. And
yes,
because it's so far out of the way.
I think
Saratoga,
and they've been like weird with like hours of operation. Like they might be closed on like Mondays and Tuesdays or something. I know some like I think Maya Grill still might be like that too. So I think it's like one of those where it's only operational like 5 days a week. So trying to be careful. If you don't see an ADR for one day, just look for another one. It should pop up for you.
All right. Well, have a good one, Sean. It sounds like you have a great trip planned. Saratoga, man. As soon as Disney Springs, really took off, Saratoga Springs, and they remodeled the rooms recently too, and they're rocking. They're getting great reviews.
And I like the paddock. I think he asked about like what section. I mean, you can't go wrong. Grandstand, paddock, the Springs area, that's preferred. So if you kind of need a preferred room category for that, but I love them all. Such a great resort.
All right. Question from Beth, who is live here on, looks like she's tuned in on Facebook. So thanks for being here. Do you guys have any CSR tips that'd be Coronado Springs Resort for room requests or dining? Staying there in October for the first time in a water view room. We're staying at Coronado for the Gift Kids World event. And we've been there many times. You like ranchos, I believe you say, for just the aesthetics, or
yeah, I like the Castitas a lot too, actually, because I love the quiet pool over there. Ranchos is just where I've been all the time. So my question though is, water view room, is that going to be the older buildings then, do you think, Mike, or is that going to be like in the tower? Like, I'm not sure.
No, water view. Well, the water view can be anything. Well, so the tower has standard. So tower has standard view, water view. It just depends which side of the building you're on,
Gotcha,
right?
that's what I
So the
thought.
standard view is going to be the ones that look out. You see, like when you come into the resort, and actually the standard view rooms, or they might be, yeah, they're still called standard. Now they switch the word standard to resort view on most room categories. But anyway, the ones that are standard view tower, those are the ones where actually it's not so bad because you can see out the Galaxy's Edge and stuff like that because they're facing like the studios. So even the standard view rooms are bad. Water view is going to be looking at the interior of the resort. So they're going to be looking out over the lake and like over to the pool, the dig site and stuff. But if you have a water view room, you could be in any of the three.
Yep. And she confirmed she's not in Grandestino, so she's in those outer rooms. And she put a sad face. So, like, Beth, I'm going to say, like, I kind of like the outer rooms. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't have a sad face.
And I've said this before. I love the tower. Grandestino is beautiful. I mean, and as a resort guest, you can still like use all those amenities that they have. So like no worries about not being in the tower. But it takes me back to my old vacations with my family, like when Emily was super young. I just love like the ranchos, the Castitas, like that just takes me back to like a moment in time before the tower existed. And there's nothing wrong with those rooms. You're gonna love those, Beth.
Absolutely. Dining. I mean, you got lots of dining options. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example of places that people don't even think to go. So Scott and I are getting there because we're volunteering on a Friday and a Saturday. So volunteering on Friday, and then we're doing the 6-hour live show on a Saturday. But we're getting there obviously on a Thursday night because we're volunteering at 7:30 in the morning on Friday. Well, Thursday night happens to be kickoff for the NFL, and it's Scotty G's Detroit Lions taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. So what are we going to do that Thursday night? We're going to go to Rick's Lounge and watch, and we'll get some apps. They have good food. They have burgers. They have wraps. They have great chips and guac. We've been there a couple times. They have bar food. And so,
Three Bridges could be an option too, because they got TVs there too. Just a thought. We could be outside.
Yeah, we could. I think I'd like the food better at Rick's. I'm more of like a sports lounge guy than I think Three Bridges with a football game. I'd rather be like in the environment. I don't know. We'll see
we'll flip a coin. Maybe one half will be one place and the second half will be another.
Do that. Yeah, we'll see. I want to be in a sports bar, man. If I'm watching football, I don't want to be in a fancy place. But we'll see.
Three Bridges is not fancy. It's a chill place.
I know, but
we'll talk about it.
Their menu, man. Their menu.
I want the listeners to say, where should we go? Should we go to Rick's or Three Bridges?
For football though, come on. Anyway, but I mean, Coronado kills it for dining, right? Because it's got Toledo, it's got Maya Grill, it's got what else we got? We got of course the food court, which the Old Pepper Market, which is El Mercado del Coronado. It's Rick's. It's got the little place. It's open like 3 hours a day. A little life next to the store.
Where you get like the little pastries. Yeah.
Three Bridges. I mean, so what advice would you give Beth though, as far as dining there?
Yeah. So I have been to Toledo. I think that's an underrated place. Especially if you're really into wine. I'm like so on wine, but I know I have a lot of friends that are really into wine that love that place. So if you're looking for like an upscale meal and can't get like a California grill or Topolino's, that is a great option for you. But honestly, like I really love Maya Grill. We were talking about this on the live show, I think, last week, Mike. The just the atmosphere in there. You can usually get an ADR, and like I think it's really solid food, and like the margaritas are great. You got the entertainment with the guitar player. I think Maya Grill is a overlooked place for sure, and like I would recommend checking it out.
Yeah, it's been a top 3 restaurant at Walt Disney World for me for a decade. It's beautiful on the inside too. Like you don't think it's much because you go to the end of that hallway, like you're just going down a hallway and you think there can't be much down there, but it's beautiful in there. Like it's got high ceilings. It's very Spanishy looking on the inside, and it's got live jazz. The guys in there playing. I love it, and the food is out. I mean, it is exactly my food. It is so good.
Yep. And Beth is not to like make this all about Beth, but I really like her question here. And she's live in the chat. She made a comment about the transportation situation. I love the transportation at Coronado Springs. And now it's going to be bus, right? So you don't have a Skyliner or a boat option. But we were talking about this the other day too, Mike. It is such a centrally located resort that your bus rides are like equal distance to all the parks basically, and they're pretty quick, I would say. Like it's considered an Animal Kingdom resort, Animal Kingdom park resort
area,
yeah. And that's a quick ride over there. You're right where World Drive connects. So getting to Epcot and Magic Kingdom is a breeze. Hollywood Studios right across the street from Epcot it's really easy to get to all 4 parks. So highly recommend that for transportation for sure.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's got it going on. I mean, and especially you can get rooms there for just a smidge more than Pop Century, and the rooms are way better.
And the dig site, oh man, I'm excited about to hang out there, Mike, in a couple of weeks.
She's got a 12-year-old. I mean, the 12-year-old is going to fall in love with the dig site. And don't forget too, the
dig site's got food.
Yeah, the pool bar's got hot food too.
There's like 18 places where you get food at Coronado. I feel like sometimes.
Coronado fan club right here. Okay, so have a good time, Beth. And she's a Chiefs fan, so look out. She's going against you there, Scott. Okay, we've got a question here from Heidi. She's in Dayton, Ohio, and she says not Cleveland, because wasn't everybody from Cleveland a couple weeks ago?
On a live show a couple weeks ago, everyone was Cleveland. Yeah.
Heidi pays attention. I like it. I like when our listeners pay attention to get in on the action. That's awesome. She says, since you and Scott are marathon pros, I'd like to get your thoughts on being at Walt Disney World as a non-marathon runner during marathon week. We're headed to the bubble January 1st through the 7th. But I just realized we'll be there for marathon week. What are your tips as to navigating the parks during the week's events, and anything in particular we might want to avoid or absolutely shouldn't miss? Thanks for the countless hours of entertainment on my long daily commutes, Heidi. Well, besides the stinkiness of the runners, actually, it's
not as scary as she's going to think. Yeah,
it's not bad at all, especially if you are somebody who likes to be in the parks at night. You are in luck.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, because the marathoners typically will go to bed earlier, right? So the closing down parks will be a lot slower. One thing I would say that may interrupt you, there's a couple things, are like restaurants, like booking ADRs. So runners like to eat, right? You know, they got to like fuel up for the next race. And I like table service restaurants to begin with, but a lot of runners want to stay off their feet, right? So they're going to like book a nice like meal somewhere where they're just off their feet relaxing. So some of your favorite restaurants might be harder to book potentially. So, but the thing is, you have just as easy access to booking those at 60 days. So just be right on it at 60 days. It might be a little competitive, but that's one thing to note. And then the other is just some road closures, especially on that Saturday and Sunday of the half marathon and the full marathon. These races start super early in the day, you know, because Walt Disney World has this operation, right? They want to keep everything flowing. So the races start, they want to just, have as little as disruption as possible. But there will be some road closures around Magic Kingdom and Epcot, especially on like that Saturday and Sunday. I mean, it's all across the park on Sunday. So just pack your patience, use Disney transportation for sure. Some of their buses and cast members might be able to take some back roads that most people can't get to on their car. So just pack in some patience there, but you'll be fine. It'll be a great week.
Yeah, it's not as bad. Here's the thing. I've always said this too. Even if you're not a runner and you're going to be there from the 1st to the 7th, so you're going to be there for quite a bit, not just there for 2 or 3 days. One time I was there, and this was before I ever ran a marathon. I didn't even have an idea that I would ever run a marathon in my life. And I just happened to kind of get caught up in it. I was there over that. And I had run, I think, the half marathon that year. And I was so excited. I went back to Epcot on the Sunday of the full marathon just because I wanted to see the people that were actually running 26 miles finish. And I stood there next to, and if you've been around for a while, you may know Deb Wills. She used to run Ollier's, and she's kind of a legend in the Disney community. So I stood next to Deb Wills. She was cheering on the runner. She always did every year, and she cheered me a few times. I always gave her a hug towards Beach Club towards the end of the race, and it meant the world to me. And I was standing next to her, and I was just like, is this not the coolest thing? Because you see all human emotion come by, and crying because people didn't think they could make it, and you see people just cheering. You see like husbands hugging wives, and people giving margaritas, and kids that are, that's my dad, that's my mom. It's just, it's raw human emotion. So this is one thing I tell people, that even if you're down there and you're not a runner, if you can, and you don't have to get up super early to do this, because a lot of folks come in on the marathon as the park opens at Epcot, 9, 10, even 11 to noon. People will come down that shoot through with the old Future World. Just go get a piece of that. You don't have to watch it for 5 hours. Get a piece of that for 10 or 15 minutes. It is good for the spirit. I'm just telling you, it is good to see people finishing a marathon. It just, I mean, it was before I was ever a runner. It got me. It really moved me to see people from all races, all body shapes, all, just people that you knew had suffered for the last 5 hours and for the last maybe 6 months, 6 years. People are overcoming cancer, people that had all these hardships, but they decided to get it done, and they were there. They had made it. It's amazing. So if you get a chance and you happen to be in that spot on that day, Sunday, think about going out there and giving a cheer and just taking it in, because I think it's just good for the spectators as it is for the runners. I don't know, Scott, if you feel the same, but
I definitely feel the same. But yeah, Heidi's plan might be to avoid all that. So my recommendation is Magic Kingdom is typically the first part that's going to be cleared. So if you want to kind of avoid the runners, I would say go to Magic Kingdom. They try to clear that park first because it's usually the busiest, and just based on how the structure of the race is. So if you want to avoid the runners, I would say start at the Magic Kingdom, but definitely take Disney transportation, because that is going to be really hard to get to. They close a lot of roadways around there for sure. So.
Yes, stay on Disney transportation. All right, Kelly's got a question. She is in Dallas, Texas. The Big D says, going to Disney World after Christmas, December 26th through January 1st. We know it's going to be insanely busy, but as annual pass holders, we go pretty frequently. We're not overly concerned, as we don't have to get everything in. We will be there the week before they do away with park pass reservations, so we still have to make them for this trip. So my specific question is, what park should we book for New Year's Eve? I'm thinking Magic Kingdom will be insane, so trying to decide between the other parks. What would you choose and why? We're staying at the Grand Floridian, so we can see the New Year's Eve fireworks from there, so the nighttime show isn't really a factor for us. Kelly, we kind of talked about this on Sunday night too, because we are big proponents of Epcot on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, right? That's the only answer to me. So what they do to Epcot, it's not, and you got to go, if you do go to this, you got to pack your patience, right? There's gonna be a lot of people there, and it's gonna be like you've never experienced Epcot before. That's why I recommend it. It's not even Epcot. It's just like a nightclub almost to a certain extent. Yeah.
World Showcase is totally a nightclub. Yeah. I mean, it's unrecognizable.
But she kind of says something like maybe fireworks. If fireworks don't matter to you and like that, like if you just want to have like a normal day, like with the family, I've always wondered what the other parks look like. So not necessarily Magic Kingdom, like Hollywood Studios is when they like always interest me. Like I wonder what Hollywood Studios is like on New Year's Eve, because everyone is at Epcot and Magic Kingdom. So if you want to do the research, Kelly, you can find that out for us, because that could be an interesting one where I think it's going to be slower. Not necessarily slow, but I think it'll be not as crowded as the other two. But there's nothing like Epcot New Year's Eve to me. Like I just think of like New York Times Square. I mean, it's not going to be like that crazy when there's like thousands. I mean, it's crowded, but like that's like what I think the closest thing is to like Times Square is like being at Epcot for some reason. I don't know why my mind goes that way.
See, and I know you and I were a lot alike. Like we could not do the studios even if we wanted to, because we get FOMO. Like we get FOMO, something fierce, right? Fear of missing out. So even if we went over to the studios, say at 6:00 in the evening, dude, we'd be on that path by like 7:30. Like I can hear the bass from Epcot. I got to get over because the dragon
the bass draws me.
I know, like the dragon in China's breathing fire, and I must be in there. I must be a part of that.
It's a cool thing. So I'm actually going to be there too, Kelly. So I'm going to be there New Year's Eve, because I haven't done it in a few years, and like I'm getting that itch. It's been a while, So I'm for sure going to be there at Epcot. I got my park pass made, and it's just one of those days where I'm probably going to enter late. I'm going to chill at the day with my family. Maybe we'll just do a lot of swimming that morning or whatnot. I'm going to enter the park late. I'm going to have an ADR made for sure, so I can sit down and have a place where I can, go to the restroom, things like that, because the restrooms get pretty busy. But it is just a great place that people watch. And like, there's no place I'd rather be to celebrate the ball dropping on New Year's.
Oh, it's so fun. I wish it was still Illuminations, but they still do the big fireworks and the ground still shakes and it's
the ground will be shaking.
Oh my!
And if you're at Grand Floridian too, if you want to, that's the thing. I don't know if your plan was to stay all through the night, but you got I think I've been at the Polynesian for one of these, and so you got the monorail. I mean, it's going to be busy leaving, but at least you're not trying to drive or like wait for a bus or something. You can go to the monorail, which would be ease some of the traffic for sure.
Man, I'm trying to think how bad the monorail would be though on New Year's Eve. I mean,
it gets bad. It gets bad, but
everything's bad. I mean, the worst was the parking lot.
Right.
So it would probably go. So let's do.
I'm doing the Skyliner. This is my first time doing the Skyliner.
Okay,
because I'm staying at Caribbean Beach.
Let's do an exercise. Okay, so you got the ways you could leave Epcot on New Year's Eve. You can leave by car. You can leave by bus. You can leave by Skyliner, and you can leave by monorail. Those are the only
or boat. If you wanted to like go to like the yacht club and boardwalk, you could technically do boat too.
Okay, or you could walk because you can walk to those.
That's so actually walking is the best, which I've done a few times.
Fastest. Boat would probably be the second fastest, right?
Yeah. If you're going to the Epcot resorts, that would be your only option though. Yeah.
Yeah, I would not take a boat. That'd be a sucker thing for New Year's Eve. What is Skyliner maybe third? The Skyliner eats that line so fast.
It does. So that's kind of why I booked a Skyliner resort, was just to test it out because I haven't done it before. And luckily for me, I'm finishing my night in World Showcase, so I can just pop out. Well, I say that there's gonna be 1,000 people
doing 17,000 friends.
But the problem, I guess, with the monorail or the bus is that you got to make your way all the way back to the front. Yep. So that's tricky, right?
And it's only like one monorail that holds what they hold like 300 people at the most, like every 10 minutes. Yeah. You know, like it's not continuous.
But the good news is like you have traffic. I mean, you don't have to worry about the roads. Like you get on the monorail, you got a clear shot to the TTC because that's where you got to go when you're coming from Epcot. Yep. So that's what worries me too. Are there going to be a lot of people parked at the TTC at Epcot that are taking the monorail because that's going to like really bring down the monorail traffic. You know, it's not necessarily like monorail resorts. So that could be kind of a messy situation too. I don't know. I mean, bus and car is the worst because you just got traffic. You got to worry about the traffic. Where Skyliner and monorail, like you kind of less traffic, obviously, because you're higher up.
Skyliner though is definitely on the list of I think Skyliner.
I'm looking forward to checking it out. Yeah, I mean the line might be back to Swan and Dolphin.
Oh yeah, the line that you could get an ice cream while you're waiting in line over the boardwalk. That's where you get in line.
I just hope they have there's someone monitoring like cutters. Like I don't want someone coming out and cutting that line. You know,
that'd be crazy. Yeah. Okay, last question of the day, and it's from Daisha, and she says, "Hey Mike, fellow Missourian here from Farmington, Missouri, just about an hour south here of St. Louis. As an extreme researcher and planner, I've been deep diving into all things Disney as I have never been, but I want to go soon. My question is, what are your best tips for traveling with a baby, a 1-year-old? Would it be worth going or should I wait until he is older? Thanks, Daisha." So I'm 2 dads here, but we both have girls and we've both gone with them when they were younger. And this is kind of a hot topic, right? I mean, you go on social media, people have really hot takes on this. I took Mallory at 6 months, one of the best trips we ever had. You know, is she going to remember it? No, she doesn't remember that trip when she was a baby, but we got great pictures and she was fine. We just went really, really slow and did a lot of slow rides and just basically took it easy. And I mean, we were both teachers at the time and we just went around and just had an enjoyable experience at Walt Disney World. It's not the same kind of vacation you have as a couple. It's not the same kind of a vacation we have now that she's 15, but we just took it slow and had a good time and took a whole lot of pictures with her and the characters and stuff like that. Yeah, you can take them, but it's totally up to you. This is such a personal decision. And if you take them, you got to keep them on the routines. And you got a lot to pack. You got to bring all the baby stuff. I remember because that was back when I used to drive, we brought all the stuff. Yeah. But Scott, what do you say to people to say about the baby topic?
So I'm all for it, but I do always because I get asked this question a lot at work even. And I always ask them, well, how big of a Disney fan are you? Because I wish I would have gone. I'm an uber Disney fan, as everyone knows now. I wasn't at the time when Emily was born, so that wasn't even on my radar, but I wish I could go back in time because I would love to have you said you took Mallory when she was 6 months old. I would love to have a picture of Emily with Mickey Mouse at 6 months old, and then I could just see the progression of her with like Mickey over the years, which I still kind of can to a certain extent because her first trip was 3.5. But I just say, like, take them whenever you're comfortable and ready.
Right.
Like, I think I throw out the whole thing about, well, they won't remember. You know what? You're going to remember as their parent. You're going to remember those memories, and that's what's important to you. So as well. So I think just whenever you're comfortable is when you go, and every trip is going to be different. 6 months old, 2 years old, 17 years old, 45 years old. Every trip is going to be different. So make that one magical. And I say, go if you're ready.
Yeah, and I've said this, on the show a bunch of times. The 6-month-old trip was way easier than like the 3-year-old trip. I mean, when she was mobile and had a personality, oh man, it was like holy rollers. I mean, good Lord, you couldn't like turn your back, man. Minnie Mouse would be pulled off the shelf at the Emporium, and it'd all be coming down if you didn't pay attention. 6 months, man, she sat in a pumpkin seat, and like took naps in the you got a good. We invested in that really nice umbrella stroller that tilted back so she could sleep. Money.
I wish I had that sometimes.
Oh man, tell me. I was jealous. Anyway. All right. Well, that's going to do it for today's show. Thanks for the great questions. Do you have a question? Drop it in the inbox just while you're thinking about it. Anytime throughout the week, Mike at beourguestpodcast.com. We'll get that here on the show. You can also join us. We record usually on Mondays around 5:30 Eastern time. Just, get a notification, subscribe on Facebook over at the Be Our Guest Podcast. You'll get that notification when we go live, or, follow us on Twitter and get the notifications there. And we'd love to have you in the live chat as we go. Give Scott a follow on the social media at Epscott, EPSCOT. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, Threads, all those places. And don't forget our sponsors, the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan an amazing Disney adventure, whether it's out to Disneyland, down to Walt Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney. We're standing by right now to help you plan an amazing trip. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our patrons. You guys are awesome. You make all these shows possible for just $5 a month. You guys get all these podcasts and a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. If you'd like to support us, we'd sure love to have you. Come on over, patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. We'll have the live call-in show this Sunday night. So if you're not doing anything over the 3-day weekend, give me a call. Scott will be on vacation out in Cincinnati, hanging out with some of our listeners out there. But I'll be here, and I'll need your company with lots of calls. So join me Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Let's talk Disney. All right. We're going to get out of here, but we'll be back again on Friday, and we're going to have an odds maker show. That's right, because college football kicks off this weekend. We're going to have lots of fun sporting events. The gridiron will be, football is back. So we're going to take odds on things happening around Walt Disney World. So give us an example, Scott, of something we might take odds on. Like, just throw something out there, right? And put you on the spot.
All right. I got one.
Okay. Give me a teaser. A little teaser. We're professional here. So
what percentage of guests staying on site set an alarm to make a virtual queue for either Tron or Guardians of the Galaxy?
Ooh, see, I like it. So now I'm not going to give an answer because you got to come back on Friday to see what I say to that. I mean, we are like pros. Look at this. We only took us like 2,400 shows. So we
got there though.
All right. So come back for that. More of that odds maker stuff on Friday's show. So you guys have a great Wednesday. Grind through 3-day weekend coming up for us United States folk. You guys stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. That's good. I like that. I just totally caught you because I was like, oh, how do I explain this?
Well, I was just trying to think when you're doing that. Like,
I can tell.
We've done odds maker so many times. Like, I'm trying to think, like, what have we not done? So I'm trying to think of something like more recent that's in the news or something, So, because like I know we've done these before, but I hate to repeat a question. But it's been so long.
It's so hard to remember what we did, though. It's been a long time since we've done one of these.
Yeah. I was a little achy today after 36 holes. I'll tell you.
I can imagine, man. I'd be on the ibuprofen like Skittles.
I'll tell you, I was out. I didn't even like watch the Big Brother episode, man. I just like laid down and I was out.
If you were tired, there's no way you could have watched it Big Brother last night because it was like the whole pressure cooker.
Was it? See, I knew everything that happened.
It was interesting, but it was not action. Like it was just people holding onto a button. Just like you'd have been like,
right.
It was not. It was so. I mean, it was interesting. It was just zero action. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me get a soda and then we'll go. There's my boy Brad next door, right on cue, firing up the lawnmower.
Is this the pirate guy?
Yeah, pirate. He has the pirate cat flag. It's a cat with a pirate hat on, hanging from his garage. Wonder. I don't think Walt Disney World's closing. I don't think. It doesn't look like it's going to go over. It's just going to rain. I would have to guess, Kim. That's what we're hearing. I hope not. Okay, so take that banner off. I gotta not sneeze. Odds makers. I gotta think of a good one to start off. I had one. Okay. All right, here we go.
We'll take some in the chat too.
Yes,
sure.
we'd love to have you give us some situations for the odds makers. Here we go. 22-47, 23-47. Bingo. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2347 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you and welcome to Labor Day weekend here in the United States of America. It's a 3-day weekend. You're working for the weekend and we made it. Even if it's Friday morning, you're listening to the show. Just, get those 8 hours in, punch that clock, and enjoy that 72 hours of freedom. And I bet maybe your college football team kicks off this weekend. Of course, my Mizzou Tigers have already played. We played last night. Hopefully, we are sitting atop the SEC with those Vanderbilt Commodores. Who would have thought that, right? Mizzou Tigers and Vanderbilt. We'll see. I shouldn't say that. Oh, my God, I cursed us. We probably lost to South Dakota. Should not have said that. I should start the podcast over, but I'm going to let it roll. Speaking of odds makers, as we're talking today, Eli Drinkwitz, our head coach, is probably calling me and cursing me right now. We got to move on. I didn't say it. Everybody just ignore what I just said. I'm going to get my buddy introduced. Scotty G up in Michigan. Sparty up. What's up, Scott?
Happy College Football Friday. We made it.
There we go.
The Spartans are kicking off tonight against Central Michigan. And I'm going to miss the game but because I'm traveling today. But you know what? It's all right. We're going to hang out with some awesome friends down in Ohio. Why is a Spartan driving to Ohio on an opening kick? Like, did I really think this through?
Do you know how many times you're going to get that?
I know.
Like everybody's gonna be doing this.
It's gross. It's gross.
The whatever they do, like the village people.
I know. It's yeah. I'm gonna probably wear my green and white though. Maybe I'll get some Go Green shouted at me. But it's gonna be an interesting year though, Mike. Not to make it all college football, but we lost our quarterback to Auburn. The transfer portal really hurt our roster. So I don't even know what half the roster even looks like right now. To be honest, I'm not as I used to be so hardcore into it, Mike, where I would know where everyone was from, what high school they went to. I was so obsessed with it. As I get older, I'm not as crazy about it, but I always support my green and white. Playing Central Michigan Friday night. I'll be listening to it in the car as we're on our way to Cincinnati, Ohio. Go green, baby.
Yeah, go green, go white. So the Chips, right? Chippewas?
The Chips, fire up Chips. I like Central Michigan. I got some friends that went there. It's an awesome directional school, right? It's a good school for sure. Their campus is beautiful. They're in Mount Pleasant, but it's all about the Spartans, baby, in East Lansing. Let's go.
I'm just saying, man. They came to Mizzou a couple of years ago. They played us tough. They're one of those sneaky teams, right? You look at the schedule, right? So you get the schedule out, and you're circling games like Purdue, Indiana, Michigan. All right, we got those three locked up, and then you're like, oh, okay, Eastern Michigan, we got that. Central, we got that. No, Central is sneaky tough, man. They were
especially for in-state. So these are the guys that like might wanted to go to Michigan or Michigan State. So for whatever reason, couldn't get in because it's super competitive. So they go to Central, and they just are, because they play Michigan tough too, man. They are just like fire up chips that since their slogan, they're like, this is the school that denied me, man. I'm going to get them back on the field. So those are scary games. And to start the season off with one is tough too.
Their Super Bowl right there off the bat. So totally. All right. So let's talk Disney. We're having a good time kind of tying this in though, because what are you going to see tomorrow morning? If you are a sports fan, you tune into a Disney, ABC, ESPN, you get to watch College Game Day, and like it or not, you're going to see a lot of odds given on all the college games. Actually, they replaced one of the people on the set with somebody who gives, projections for betting and so forth. We talked about that. So today we're just going to have fun and do an odds maker show about things at Walt Disney World or Disneyland or Disney Cruise Line, things that we talk about here on the podcast, and just go back and forth to have discussions about how we think things are going in the Disney parks and Disney experiences universe. So I think you teased a situation on Wednesday show as we come into our Friday podcast. So Scott, for those folks that may not have caught Wednesday show, let's kick it off with that. What was our first odds maker situation? And we'll go with that.
All right. So here's the situation, Mike. So on-site guest, that have a Epcot or Magic Kingdom theme park pass booked for the next day. How many are setting an alarm to make a virtual queue at 7 a.m. the next day? So what percentage of those guests are booking or setting the alarm so they can remember to put the virtual queue?
See, I would put that number so I'm going to set a number, then you go over under. You want to do that?
Okay. Yeah.
And then everybody,
because I have a number in my mind. So yeah. And then anyone in the chat want to chime in too. Like we'd love the feedback.
Yeah, we love the feedback. What do you think about it? And also give us a situation too if you're tuned in live, because we got a lot of folks tuned in live here too. And then on social media at BRGuestMike, at EpScott over the weekend, let us know, because again, 3-day weekend, we'll be sitting there playing on our phones, and you can give us situations. We'll play right along all weekend too. So what percentage? I would say I'm going pretty high on this because it's almost a necessity at this point. And I think that, we're a few years into this whole deal now. I think that people are aware of the fact that you have to do this. I would put it at 72% are setting an alarm. I think Disney at this point has trained people. Now, I know not everybody is, because some people are stubborn. It's still vacation, but I'd say 72% is high because it is vacation. What do you say?
Right. Well, the fun part of this question is who needs the alarm? Because maybe you just remember with your internal clock. Maybe you don't have to wake up.
That's living dangerously though. I
know.
Me, but I still said
I was trying to be funny. This is more of the Ricky crew right here.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I'm actually gonna go lower and then 72, but I'm not close. I was thinking 65 for some reason, because some people might just want to have a chill day. I'm not worried about that virtual queue, or I've done that enough, or maybe they just don't know. That's kind of what I'm getting at too. Walt Disney does a really good job though of emailing you, right? Every time I got a trip, I get an email a couple of days before, don't forget to save the galaxy, or do you want to come on the grid? And then they give you those instructions. So that kind of triggers it too. But yeah, it's definitely more than 50% though, right, Mike? I feel like a good majority of the guests know about this. And yeah, I think you got the number pretty good there, Mike.
Okay, cool. All right. So I like it. Okay. So here's one. Now this one is kind of iffy for me. So, and let us know what you guys think about that one. So here's the next one. So I'm trying to think, what is today? So this one is actually, now remember, we're recording this on Monday. So I know this comes out on Friday. So we're doing this before this announcement. So this is going to be maybe a moot point by the time this show comes out, but we're going to do this anyway. What are the odds? Where do you put the odds that there is a Trader Sam's Tiki Bar announced for the Disney Treasure cruise ship? Because people are really hot on this rumor. But right. Where do you see this? Where do you put the odds of this being announced? Because again, Wednesday they're doing a live stream.
Right.
And so we
got to sound smart here, Mike.
I know, because they could not say anything, but I mean, right. They could be it could be what they lead with, and we could know this by now.
So the rumor is too, because on the Wish we have the hyperspace lounge. So I think the thought is what do you put in that space?
Yep.
On the Treasure. And when you say Treasure, you kind of think we already know Captain Hook and Peter Pan are kind of the theme, right? On the back of the ship. So is a tiki bar kind of treasure? I kind of feel that, like, because there's rumor about a haunted mansion. I don't think the haunted mansion would fit very well for the treasure necessarily for like a theme bar. So I'm liking a Trader Sam's type bar. I'm going to go high, Mike. I trust the rumor mill. I'm going strong 80% chance that there's going to be a Trader Sam's Tiki Lounge bar on the treasure.
I like where you're going with that. And here's you kind of said it in a way. So the people are making this comparison, and I've never thought about this, right? But it's only for these last two ships. People are comparing the Wish to like Fantasyland, I think. Is that what people are doing now? And they're saying the treasure is more of like an Adventureland ship. Is that what people are saying?
I mean, it kind of feels right though, yeah. Because the Wish is very Cinderella, which I feel is very Magic Kingdom.
I've heard all these far-fetched things, and now I'm buying into. Like I've gone down the rabbit hole where they're like,
"But where does Star Wars fit into Fantasyland?"
Yeah, then it pulls it out because Star Wars is not really Fantasyland. Well, could it be? I don't know. It's really not.
We got the Bayou. The Bayou could kind of be Fantasyland-ish, I feel like. I mean, kind of, yeah, with Tiana. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, Ella is here in our live chat. We love having her here. She's heard Haunted Mansion. I've also heard Haunted Mansion, but I also agree that I think it's stronger because Trader Sam, I think it's stronger for Trader Sam's because it's already a conceived concept. It's at Disneyland. It's at Walt Disney World. It would be a hit out of the box. And
I mean, how could you ever get a seat in there? They had to go back to like a reservation system of some sort.
Well, Hyperspace Lounge was like that on the Wish at first. I mean, it was you couldn't get in there, and then you could. But I think this would be even harder to get, and maybe they can make it bigger. But I mean, if you make it bigger, does it lose its essence? I think that the whole essence of those places are small. You said 80%.
I went high, man.
I'm going 85%.
Oh, he's going over.
I'm going over because I think it is going to happen. I mean, if they're smart, do it. Like, give the people what they want. It isn't hard. It's something they've done before.
And feel free to send us the DMs or at us like for how accurate we were, because this has been announced by the time this episode drops. We should know this. I hope. I'm hoping we know.
There's going to be no mention of it, and it's going to be a big old fat. That's going to be on Friday.
And then we have to wait like 6 more months to find out.
We probably just put the death nail in that one. So there you go. All right, give us I love this kind of stuff. Go ahead, Scott, give us another one.
All right, so I'm gonna pick a park here. I'm gonna pick Magic Kingdom just because. So you get there early, you get the Magic Kingdom before they even let you in the park. So you're rope dropping essentially. You see all these people that are gathering up. Everyone gets into the park. The park's not officially open, but you see all these people around you, right? What percent of those people are still going to be in the park without leaving? They never once left by the time the fireworks start.
Oh man, that's a good one. Holy kid. So you're talking hardy folk.
Hardy folk. Oh, like God. They could be on site, they could be annual pass holders, they could be staying wherever, but they were there right when the park opened, and they didn't step 1 foot off of the park for like a break or lunch or anything.
Okay, give me a date. Like just pick it because I think it matters. Like pick a date.
Okay. I'm gonna pick spring break. I'm gonna pick like March 28th.
Okay, spring break. Oh my gosh.
A Wednesday. And it's a Wednesday over spring break.
I would say that's a great question. That is I would love to have this official stat. I've never really thought about that, but I would love to know this number on any random day.
Because we've seen people like I've seen people just napping, like even not on one of those 24 hours days, just like napping. You're like, oh man, they must be grinders, right? They must be here all day.
I would say, God, this is a good one. That I would love to. Seriously, I'd love to know this number. I'm gonna go 27%.
Okay.
I don't know.
We're kind of in sync here. I'm gonna go lower, but I was thinking 20%. I was thinking 1 in every 5. But like,
because I think
the scenario we get,
like they stay because they have to get their value out of their ticket. You know what I'm saying? Like you're on a 1-day ticket, you're like, I don't care if it kills me, I'm not leaving this park because I paid so much for the ticket. That's going to be part of it.
And the scenario I just thought of, we're talking like spring break. You could just have like these big school groups, right? Where like they're not leaving, right? Because they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do everything. And the chaperones are like, please, let's leave. But like the kids aren't gonna want to leave, So that could actually really increase it too, because you just think like a big school group is going to boost your percentage. But like, do you think families are doing that? Like, do you think families are just going to be like, that's it? We're going to be here all day, kids. We're going to eat lunch here. We're going to eat dinner here. We're not leaving until the fireworks start.
I think like there is a certain family that does that, right? They're the family that brings the PB&Js in the backpack.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that because that
Right.
was
I
my
love
family.
that. I love that. Yeah.
Growing up, that was my family at Six Flags. The only thing was, but it wasn't though, because my family would go out and we would eat in my grandpa's F-150 in the bed of his pickup. And like we just that's
Yeah.
because
So at Cedar Point, we would kind of do an all-day thing because we would drive from Michigan and like we'd go to Cedar Point. But we would leave though sometimes just to get like a little snack or even like to get like some drinks from the cooler, like in the car, you know, like
because you never got. I mean, this was Six Flags. This wasn't even Walt Disney World. It was too expensive to eat at Six Flags. Like the grandma would pack us like because my grandpa was a construction worker, so we had like that igloo kind of like big cooler box thing with those little freezer, little rectangle things you put in there to keep stuff cool. And so she'd pack us like, we'd have chips and we'd have PB&J sandwiches. And so we'd go out and just eat in the back of the F-150 and then go back in. So yeah, maybe that's high. I don't know. I got to hear what people think.
Yeah, I would love to hear people's thoughts on this because and Magic Kingdom is a little tough to leave, right? Because then you got to go to the TTC and then you got to drive off property somewhere. And then you go to like the Arby's, Chick-fil-A, whatever to like get a little snack. Then you got to come back and do the parking. And like, I mean, you're giving up like 2.5 hours easily of your time, right? By doing just to leave, I think. Maybe it's a little high. I don't know. But you got to get to your car and all that. I don't know.
But staying in the park all day wears you out.
It's exhausting.
You're right. I mean, it does. If you look at how much you're paying per hour, but it's not. If you stay all day, I swear it is. I'm just by the end of the day, I'm just exhausted. I can't enjoy. I'd rather go back, take a nap.
But if you're that family, it's your first time, like you don't even know, like you just got this high energy, right? Like we're gonna do everything in this park. You got the map out, you're making check marks, all the attractions.
I was there. I used to be there. Oh my god.
I like that. I like your. I think you went 27%.
27%.
I like that. You went with your birthday number. I like it.
I did. Okay, here's mine. Okay, so today, this morning at Epcot. Okay, so on this Friday, whatever it would be, beginning of September.
Yeah, it was September 1st. Oh, that's a great day to ride Guardians. Hopefully you get September.
Oh yeah. That's September. Isn't it September 20th or September?
It's 21st of September, but still it's September now.
It's like, when did some other day? I was like,
21st.
You remember?
The 21st night of September.
Okay, there we go. Anyway, so
God, I hope I got that right. I'm gonna get crushed.
I know
we're
gonna get crushed for this show on social media. Okay, so here's the question. All these people lined up getting ready to go into Epcot this morning. You go down. What percentage of guests know that there is an attraction called Moana Journey of Water getting ready to open about 200 yards straight away from them? What do you think? What percentage?
I mean, obviously, like the hard people listening to this podcast, we all know it. Anyone that's like really hard follows the Disney Parks blog, but then that's like a small percentage, right? So people just going in on Friday, Labor Day weekend, trip, going in the Epcot, Moana water.
But again, you got the rope droppers. That'd probably be more of the Disney nerd.
I know. I'm gonna go 33%, Mike.
33%.
I think a third. 1 in every 3 is gonna be like, oh yeah, like we know that. Like, yeah.
That's a good number.
It's a tough number for you. I know.
I like that number actually a lot because 1 in 3 I think is about where it would fall because of it. It is. I think if you did it like 10 o'clock in the morning, I think the number drops.
Yeah, because you got the hardcore rope droppers. You just said that.
Yes, I think that because you got the folks that are in the know, like being in there, right? Like I want to be the first person in the touch point. I think that increases your number. 10 o'clock in the morning. It's just people rolling in that don't have, they don't have the app downloaded. What I'm saying? They don't know what's going on. I'm just saying, they're just like, it's vacation, dude. What's up? They're like, oh, let's go on the golf ball.
Those are the people that like
crowd, right?
They're like, we were at Disney yesterday. Let's go to Epcot today.
That's exactly right. Hang on. Boom. 33%. I am going. God, that's a tough one. I'll know to go over and over because over under because it's so good. I'm just gonna go slightly over. And I'll probably go like 35. I mean, I'm barely going over just because like there's something happening. They may have heard of it. But I think that's a good
and I'm excited. I mean, I like it. I mean, there's multiple reasons. Like, I just want that area to open up finally. That's like one of my biggest reasons. But I've said this on the show before. I wish this feature was just in the Animal Kingdom. I think it's just in the wrong park, unfortunately. But I mean, I'm excited to see it. I think it's going to be really cool. The problem is, like, I know Kim just said she's got a preview, and she feels like it's going to be underwhelming. And I think it is going to be underwhelming because we've been waiting so long. Like, if it would take like 6 months for it, then I think it would have been great, right? But it's just we've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and then all the hype. It's just the expectations I think are too high right now.
And I think too, it's location. I mean, you're getting this, experience that's a walkthrough, without a huge. And again, I haven't seen it, so I might really like it, but I don't think you're going to get a huge payoff. And I mean, it's like in prime spot in Epcot. Like if it was on the outskirts. So, for example, like you mentioned, Animal Kingdom, like the Maharaja Jungle Trek or the the other trail. Like those are in the back and they're in the, they're out of the way. You got to discover those. And I love them because there's something you just happen upon. This thing is like in the heart. I mean, it's like in the dead, it's like in the main chamber. If you looked at Epcot as a heart, it's like it's like you will die if you don't have this part of Epcot. It's in that part of the chamber. And it's not a feature thing, it's like a C or a D ticket. I don't know. I think that works against it.
I don't know. Maybe we'll be blown away, Maybe we're just psyching ourselves down so much, that we will love it when it comes. Like, I don't know. We're going to find out soon, though.
And Lisa's kind of like Price is Right today. So shout out to Bob Barker, who passed away this past week. You kept everybody company when you were sick from school.
For sure.
Bob Barker.
For sure.
Famous Missourian, by the way, from Springfield.
Yeah. Okay. I feel terrible. Like, I thought he had already like passed for some reason. I don't know. Like, I was surprised by that news.
No, I knew he was still alive because I mean I couldn't believe it. Like it was amazing that he was still around. Like he was he was like Betty White, right? Yeah. He just like him and Betty White just kept hanging on, which I thought was incredible.
We got to think him like we're working with microphones right now, and I think he's got one of the most iconic microphones of all time. Like
him and Gene Rayburn with the big tall mic. Yeah, I know. I need one of those.
So when we play miniature golf, side note, because we like to play mini golf, me and my family, like. I will always like do interviews and I take the putter and I interview Emily. I'm like, hi, this is Scotty G here with a 1970s microphone. Tell me about your round today. It's like, and she just cracks up, but I was called the putter my 70s microphone when we play mini golf.
I'll call you Gene from now on, Gene Rayburn. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Give us another. Let's keep rolling.
All right. So, I mean, this is kind of fairly new, kind of not. I will say maybe like within the last few months, but within the app, you can cancel dining reservations that you made, like ADRs, like same day up to 2 hours, right? So we know a lot of people will plan. I'm a planner, right? Like I got to get my California Grill, my Topolinos. I got certain restaurants that I want to book ahead of time. But how many people make those last minute changes, right? So how many people percent, like on a just call it random day, let's call it today, let's call it September 1st, are canceling an ADR they made 60 days ago that same day because they just have a different option that they want to go with.
I see that. I think that's low because I think people just don't. I think people get lazy on vacation. Not lazy, but I just think people don't want to manage their vacation unless you are a certain personality. Now, our audience managing that. So, but again, our audience is not a huge percentage of everybody who's at Walt Disney World right now. I wish it was. We have a pretty decent audience out there as far as podcast listeners, which I appreciate, but it's not everybody that's at Walt Disney World at any given time. I would say maybe, but I mean, you do have to do that sometimes when like a baby gets sick or is crabby. I would go my baseball number from high school and my hockey number. I'm going 21%.
Okay.
1 out of 5.
I like that number. I'm actually going higher. I'm going 30%. And I mean, that seems high, right? That many people are like canceling an ADR. But I think it's a combination of canceling and wanting to change because like you just like are just not in the mood for that now. Like you're like, you're having your trip, maybe you book an ADR every other day and you're like, gosh, I've had steak 2 nights in a row. Like I really don't want to go here tonight. Like what's available in the app? Let's cancel it. Because like things can happen to your vacation where you just change, like your eating habits change and you just want a new ADR. And the other reason, Mike, I think it's higher because I'm always looking on that app when I'm down there trying to find things and things just pop up all the time. And I feel like people must be canceling, right? Like I'm trying to get this Topolinos and like I've been looking and looking and looking, then boom, like 5 times become available that same day. Like either Disney holds off on some of the reservations, which could be, maybe they're trying to save from save some for the same day. I don't know, but I feel a lot of it is just people canceling. I think it could be higher than we think.
I think it's more the cancellations, I would guess. I mean, 'cause I don't know why they would hold them back. I mean, maybe they do, but yeah, it is probably cancellations. And you're right. Now, this is why I like doing these shows. I mean, hopefully it's for entertainment purposes. You're rolling down the road or you're on a run today and you're kind of trying to come up with like, what would your number be before we give our numbers? You have conversations in the car with your family or at dinner tonight as you're hopefully having some fajitas with the family or grilling and, on the deck, whatever. But also, hey, maybe you can remember next time you're on your vacation here in a couple of weeks or in 6 months, don't forget to check because you might get that ADR you couldn't get for 60 days. You get it day of. It's also a clip show.
It just kind of blows me away. Like, I feel like I'm seeing a lot more of that lately where you could just get a really hard to find ADR same day. And it's got to be because people are canceling. So you went, 21, I think. And I said higher. Who knows? It might be like in the 40s. Who knows? I would love to hear what people think.
I know that's the whole thing I would love to like get official numbers on all these things. I mean, you're never going to get them, but it would be so cool to get it. Okay. Here's one that it's really good for you because this is something you guys do all the time as a family. This one's exclusive to Walt Disney World Resort Hotel guests. Okay. So for everybody that's staying on site at Walt Disney World right now, September 1st, how many people or those guests are going to get into their resort pool today at their hotel? What percent?
Man. I love that question because I love my pools. And I'm trying to think.
First, so the weather's still relatively hot. Well, let's say it's a nice day because it could be raining, but let's just say it's a hot Florida nice day.
Yep. All right. So I'm trying to think because when I'm at the pools, they're crowded, and like I'm thinking about the summer when we're at the Grand Floridian, like I could never get a chair. Like I had to rope drop the pool basically to get a chair. Yeah, so a lot of people like the rope drop and take that midday break like I do. I'm going to say, but it still could be low, right? Because a lot of people like to hang out in the parks. Like I'm trying to think of all the possibilities. I'm going to put the number at 38%. 38% are going to go into the pool.
See, I thought you were going to go at least 50. I thought you were going to go at least 50 and see, But
I don't think the pools are that. I think about like Coronado Springs, right? It's a huge resort, lots of people. The dig site does get busy, but like, it's not half the resort, I feel like. No. But again, we got all day, right? It's not just the one time I'm there, right? So it does spread out throughout the whole day. But I don't know if half the resort goes swimming,
No, that's exactly it, right? I mean, think about how many people are at Coronado is a great example, right? Think about how many people are booked into Coronado on any given day. And if everybody went to the pool at the same time, there's no way. It would be 20 times as many people as could fit into that.
And that's the scariest one to me because it was crowded before the tower. They bring Destino Tower, and then they didn't even add a pool. Like that always kind of blew my mind a little bit.
I've always wondered about that too. Like, because they build the pools, and Coronado is really an outlier because they have not added a pool, and they added like basically doubled the capacity of the resort tower. That one does kind of blow me away.
I know they talk about it's a convention hotel, but honestly, I see. When I've been staying there, I see a lot more families than like conventioners, So like, I know it's like a convention resort, but like, I mean, how they didn't add a pool when you doubled your guest size just blows my mind because the dig site was always a popular place.
It's a convention hotel, but what it hosts a lot is a lot of like dance competitions because they have a lot of like sometimes they'll have cheerleading in those big banquet or those big conference centers, but they'll have a lot of dance. And they've even had basketball tournaments and stuff down there. I mean, they have all kinds of stuff. And those families will have people swimming because they're kids.
For sure. Yeah.
Here's the thing. Yeah. Like it appears that a lot of people are swimming. Here's the thing I was kind of getting at earlier is that I wonder like how Disney decides, because if everybody at a resort decided to all go swimming at the same time, it'd be a nightmare. But for some reason, like when you stay at All-Star Sports or you stay at Pop Century, or you stay at, Caribbean Beach, like it always seems like for some reason that the pool is like, there's a balance. Why is that? I mean, it seems crowded.
Do they have like metrics behind we know Walt Disney World knows the number. They know what the number is.
Do you have you ever wondered that? Because I've actually wondered that a couple times. Like it never gets to the point where it is like every once in a while over at Stormalong Bay, right? They'll have to turn people out because that's an insane. People stay there for that pool. They check wristbands to make sure your hotel. That's an outlier too. But even at like Coronado, Caribbean Beach, Pop Century, the pools get busy. But if everybody went to the pool at the same time, there's no way. It'd be like people like turtles on top of turtles.
And they
wild.
do like have like a maximum number. Like you saw that posted sometimes, like to say what the occupancy is, you know. So there is a max number, but yeah, they're not getting close to that. They just know. Like, I mean, it'd be really messed up if like it's like noon and everyone just leaves the parks and goes to the pool. That would be a riot.
I mean, I guess maybe it happens like on those rare occasions where like the parks close because of like hurricanes, right? Where everybody's back at the hotel and they do keep the pools open, maybe because it's the only thing going on. But so with your thing, you said 38%. I think again, your numbers are so strong because you have folks that are like, I don't tend to swim. Like if I'm there solo, I'm probably not going to swim by myself. Maybe some, older folks that just aren't into swimming don't go down. Yeah, I would say it's definitely less than 50. So I like your number 38 again. I would go.
But think about I'm thinking about it from a different perspective. Think of how many nights your trip is. So say you have a 6-night trip. Do you swim 3 nights, 3 days? Do you go into a pool? Because that would then be 50%.
Probably not. I mean, there's times I don't even pack trunks, like for even 6
my God, that's crazy.
Like I won't even pack trunks for this trip or go down for Give Kids a Break.
I'm gonna be in that pool.
See, I don't even know if I will. I mean, I'll probably pack them, but I mean, will I get in? Probably not. And that's 4 nights at Coronado Springs.
Yeah.
I don't know. So yes, you said 38. I would go. That's a good number. I go a little bit lower. I go 35. So yeah, that's what I would say. So I want to hear what people say though. That's again. I love these. It makes you think.
Great question. So many
factors. Okay, go.
So this next one's not going to make you think as much, but I thought it'd be a fun one because we've been very low. So I feel like this is going to be a high number. So I'm going to go high on something. So so today is Friday. So yeah. So a bunch of people are sadly. Well, it's depending on which way you look at it. Some people are going to be happy, some people are going to be sad, but some people are leaving the Wish today because it just got into Port Canaveral, right? So the people arriving today just were on a great 4-night cruise on the Wish. What percent of those guests are going to Walt Disney World? What percent of those guests are going to a theme park today at Walt Disney World that are leaving the Wish today?
The smart ones.
Smart one. Hopefully not the airport. I mean, I know there's going to be a percentage that are definitely going to the airport, but what percentage are going to the parks?
I hate to say this, but I would say it's at 32%. It's not as high as you would think. I don't think it's as high as you would think. I think some people are going, some people are going to maybe go to Universal. Some people are going to do other things in Central Florida, maybe the Space Coast. But, I book transfers, right, for folks. And a lot of people do go straight back to the airport.
Wow. Okay. I thought this number was going to be high. And I guess part of it too could be, especially if you're not an annual pass holder, like you could be not taking advantage of a full day ticket because you got to get, you got to do an hour drive to get to the resort. Like I paid for instance, you just did that. Yeah,
I paid for a 1-day park hopper ticket or 1-day ticket for Page with Genie Plus in that situation. We got there at 11 o'clock.
I thought this. I don't know why I'm thinking such a high number with this because I'm thinking 75. I'm thinking 3 out of every 4 people are going to a park.
Dude, trust
I have never not done that on a cruise.
Yes.
Even on a day where I flew out, Mike, I went to a park. Like I got off the ship, I went to the Epcot, I rode Guardians of the Galaxy, and then I went to the airport. Like I just can't not. That's crazy. Wow.
No, I think that is high. But I see. But if you have an annual pass, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you're paying for like a family of 4 and you're getting an 11 o'clock start. Now, I think it makes sense to do. Here's what I think it totally makes sense. It's to go there and stay to do like 2 or 3 nights, to go there.
Do you think that number's higher than if people are staying? Like if I didn't say parks?
What you should do is, honestly, I think what you should do is go and stay at a hotel. So you get off the ship on Friday, you go and stay at Pop Century for like 2 nights after the cruise to kind of reacclimate yourself. Don't go straight back to the airport. But maybe you don't go to the hotel that day you get off the ship. You just go and hang out at your resort, play putt-putt. Don't pay for the ticket that day. Maybe go to the park the next day, Saturday, and then head home Sunday. You know what I'm saying? And maybe because then you get the full day on Saturday. You're not pushing the clock and you're kind of chilling out on the day you get off the ship. You have a good meal favorite restaurant at Walt Disney World that night. That's what I would do.
I mean, that's what I think everyone should do. Yes. But
75%, man, it's riding it. But hey, maybe. I don't know. See, again, I wish I knew that God, we don't know. But I wonder what people are saying.
I mean, in a way, like now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, this is just bringing a good conversation. That's why we're playing the game, right? Because now here's another thought I'm thinking. Like, I think there are a lot of international travelers on these ships too. I think a lot of them do go to the airport. Like they save the cruise for the last part of their trip, I think, a lot of times. So that could be.
Okay, here's the $1 million question. Again, this is just for conversation. That's why I love having these shows. We can do whatever we want with them. Is what if you had to pick? In case somebody's like gonna waterboard you if you don't like give the answer. Cruise first and then Walt Disney World, or the other way around? Because my wife, she always wants to know the answer to this, and I say,
so I can't pick both because that's what I always do.
Both is the answer, but if you had to do one or the other,
if I had to do one or the other, I'm probably going to do the parks first because then I can just relax.
Yep.
I mean, but you love to have something to look forward to, right? So you do the cruise and then you can like play in the parks. But like, I just want to do, I would want to do the parks first. And I was also with that, I know I'm already there, right? Especially if it's coming out of Port Canaveral, like I'm on site, so I don't have to worry about like travel delays or anything like that because that would already been in the past. So definitely going to do parks first.
I do the parks first too, because I always want my vacation to get better as it goes along. And like, to me, the cruise is better than the parks. Like the cruise is my ultimate Disney vacation. So like, even when I got to check out of my Walt Disney World hotel, I'm going on a cruise and I get excited. Then you do got to go back to the airport right after, but still.
And to me, that makes the parks better. Like that's how I feel like when I'm on the cruise. I mean, that's why I do both. But like this summer, like those 2 days, like leading up to the cruise, like I'm just so excited, right? Like, oh man, we're about to sail on the Wish in a couple of days. And like, that just puts me in a better mood and a higher spirit. So I'm having more fun in the parks, I feel like, or hanging out, doing whatever before the cruise too. So I don't know. I mean, both answers are right. And well, we know the ultimate answer is both, but you can't go wrong with either. And,
And like Swansea Searcher here in the live chat on YouTube, relax on the ship, then park hard, go in the parks hard. I mean, that's just the opposite of, that's exactly it, right? You just chill out.
I know it's Brandon. I was going to read that comment. That's why I kind of hesitated. They're like, what's his name? I think it's Brandon from New Hampshire. I think that's who that is, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. I mean, there's no right or wrong. It's just a philosophical thing, right? It's how your brain wants to process and like how you justify things. Mm-hmm. Okay, here, speaking of that, let's go with one last question, one last odds makers, and then we'll wrap up for the weekend. And let's go with Disney Cruise. So right now, let me pick a park. September 1st, we're going to the studios. What percentage of guests at the studios right now have been on a Disney Cruise Line ship? Because, I mean, they've been around for 25 years.
They've been around a long time, right?
25 years. And, I mean, you see them in marketing. You see them on TV all the time. I mean, the people that are at the studios, obviously they're Disney fans,
but a lot of them are repeat guests. These are like, like silver, gold members, so a lot of people like repeat. So, oh, Mike, that's a tough one. I'm going to say, people at the studios today, how many have been on the cruise? I'm going to go 20%, 21% at the studios today have also been on a Disney cruise.
Okay.
And I just think like you make a good point. They've been around like we're celebrating the 25 years of Disney Cruise Line. So that's a lot of opportunity to go there. But I mean, it's kind of expensive, right? It's a pricey thing. So a lot of times people will say like, well, I'm going to do the parks instead. So that's why I'm thinking like they chose like, I'm going to do the parks instead of the cruise because I think the cruise might be a little more expensive. But then on another hand, like I'm trying to tell people, Mike, to do a cruise experience because I think that is one of the best experiences that you can have for a Disney destination. But I'm going to go 21%.
Here's the thing gets me though. And I'm right with you. So you said 21%. Brandon in the live chat says 18%. That's his number. Lisa down in Alabama says very low. I would think she says that. Ella down in Arkansas says she's been to the parks many, 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 many times. Only been on one cruise.
But she would count though. She would count
though. You're right. Here's the other thing. Here's what gets me though. When I'm walking around Walt Disney World, I see a ton of people wearing like Disney Cruise Line shirts and stuff. And you only get that stuff on the ships.
Yeah.
I see more of it than you would expect, which kind of throws me off. I'm like, oh, a lot of people have been on cruises. So you said 21. See, again, dude, our numbers are just right on, man. I am right with you on that number. I would go, yeah, I'd probably go like 19%. I'm right
Yeah.
with you though. I mean, I'm just going a shade under because like the thing
It
is,
could be really low too. Like depends on the day. If this is one of those school bus, like a school trip, where there's like half the park are like cheerleaders or whatever, then that number is going to be
yeah,
very
yeah,
low.
exactly. Because yeah, probably. But I mean,
Yeah.
again, when Mallory went down for cheer, tons of girls on her at her gym had been on a Disney cruise,
Yeah.
like just randomly because their families are Disney fans. It's wild, it's because of again, it's the 25-year thing. Like, oh yeah, my honeymoon 17 years ago, we went on the
Well, that's
one.
Jared and Stacy. Like I was blown away that Jared and Stacy that's where they honeymoon, and then like 22 years later,
Yeah,
boom, they're back on the ship again.
I know,
So yeah,
because they've been around so long at this point. People randomly have been like, "Oh yeah, I went years ago out of Port Canaveral on a little 3-night Bahamian
yeah, it was
cruise."
called the
Yeah,
Magic or
yeah,
something. Yeah,
exactly. More of those people out there than you think. So it is.
yeah.
Yeah, I like
But
thinking
are
of
they going to the parks on a are they going to the parks too? Like maybe like
probably. I
yeah.
think so. I think so because I think if you're on a Disney cruise, you're probably pretty in, and I think you probably have stayed in for the most part. Again, this is why I love having these kind of shows because here's what I'm thinking tonight. If you listen to our show today, hopefully tonight, like I said, over the grill, you're sitting on the deck, you're kicking off the weekend, maybe it's Saturday night, you're going to Texas Roadhouse like we do sometimes, whatever. You bring up these and they lead to other totally discussions and odds maker situations that we didn't even think of. But this is to me, Scott, I know you have these with Emily and Elizabeth and other folks. This is kind of the dinner time conversation you can have in the car. Maybe you should drive to Cincinnati. This is kind of the fun stuff because it makes you think about things you didn't think about. You're talking about your favorite thing and your favorite places, but it also kind of gets a debate going within the conversation, which is a lot of. I just love having the
I love it, and I love it too. That's why I like doing these episodes because like it wasn't really topical, and like we're like, oh man, we're going to talk about give these odds, but we made great conversation out of it. And what's crazy, like you say, debate. You and I were like in sync on every single one of these. Besides like how many people leave the cruise to go to a park, like, but you have some insider information I think on that because you book travel.
I do. And you're like, okay, where are you going before? Where are you going after?
Yeah,
I'll get you there.
You were talking about how many transfers you book for where people go to the airport, so you might have had a one up on me there. But yeah,
we'll buy it all inside baseball on that one. So
and so I got one more question before you guys wrap up. What is the percent chance that Michigan State is going to beat Central Michigan tonight?
I would go 100%, but that would mean the Chips are going to have a good day. So I'm not even going to give odds on that because you know how it goes. If somebody gives odds, it's like the Corso putting the head on. It could be the curse. And yeah.
Okay. So when they would play this game on, pardon the interruption, back in the day, they would say, now odds makers is 100% over. And I was hoping you're going to say Michigan State will 100% win against Central Michigan. That's where I'm going with.
Okay, I will, but I feel I just don't want any wrath because I just know that I'm superstitious. I'm terribly superstitious about sports. I just don't want to bring any wrath to anybody. But odds makers is 100% over Canadian flag imaginary wave.
There it is.
There you go. All right, we're gonna jump out of here. Hope everybody has a great Labor Day weekend. Thanks for hanging with us and let us know on the social. Seriously. Because we're going to be hanging out this weekend. So at Epscott, EPSCOT, at BRGuestMike, especially on Twitter, it's kind of just the easiest way to drop a few comments. So let us know we're crazy, were we right on, and give us some other situations, and we will answer eventually over the weekend. And Sunday night, I'll be live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central. We'll keep the game going so you can call in with a situation. We'll have the debate, we'll have the discussion, and we'll put it right here in the chat, and we'll just keep it going right along there. So join us for that as well. Don't forget our show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We labor over the weekend. We'll help you plan a great Disney vacation. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link over at brguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so much for the Patreon support. You guys make all these shows possible. So thank you sincerely for that. And our patrons get that bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. So coming over patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. We're excited to see everybody next week down at Give Kids the World Village. Please do carve some time out and save a little bit of money to donate to the great folks down at Give Kids the World. We'll be on the air on Saturday, September 9th from noon to 6 Eastern. So please do join us right here in all the normal locations, bid on some items. wireless Disney Cruise Line speaker. It looks like the Disney Wish. It can float in your bathtub, or if you have a pool, it'd be even cooler. Way cooler in the pool if you have one. I can tell you that. Lots of pins, Scentsy items, homemade ears. We're giving away a trip to Walt Disney World. We have lots of guests on the show. You can call in and be a part of the video chat. We're gonna have all that going. It's just gonna be a hoot it's gonna be a 6-hour party from the village. So you want to be here. Scott's gonna be there. Ricky's gonna be there. We're all be in person. So Scott, excited. 1 week away, almost there.
I'm very excited. Anything for Give Kids the World. That is a great organization. Love what they're doing there at the village. I love touring it and volunteering and spending time there. So yeah, I'm just really looking forward to doing a 6-hour live show, talking with our listeners, and maybe talking about some D23 updates too while we're down.
Absolutely. We'll be talking about that for sure. We got lucky on that timing for once. So that'll be good. All right. So we just want everybody to have a great weekend, but most importantly, enjoy your family, your friends, and stay safe and stay healthy. So for Scott, I'm Mike saying have a great weekend. We will see you real soon. All righty.
Odds makers is 100% over.
All right.
That was a fun episode. Those are always fun to do.
Those are fun because I mean they can go anywhere.
I lost my train of thought at one point, so not my best episode.
No,
it was good.
I didn't write anything down, so I didn't.
It was fine.
Yeah, it was good. All right. Well, I will talk to you later. So
all right. Sounds good. I might send you an email about booking something for Disneyland. So
please let me know.
All right. Have a good one. Have a good one, everybody.
Guys. All right. Bye-bye. 7